ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगणललिता शिविशाखान्वितंश्च। ये कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्द राधाकान्द नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी क्षभानुसुदे देवे प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दिनतारिणं। परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचिमां प्रसूक्तां सञ्जीवयति अखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्नां अन्यां च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणां नमो भगवते उषाय तुभ्यं। जयदं सरदो पङ्गोर्मम मन्दमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्य पादाम्बुजो राधामदनमोहनो। तमादिदेवं करुणानिधानं तमालवर्णं सुहृदावतारम् अपार संसार समुद्र सेतुं भजामि
இது வந்து கிடையாது. அது ஆஃப்
भागवतम्।
பண்ணாலும் வந்துட்டே இருக்கு.
परमानंद पाठाय प्रेम वर्षीयक्षराय दे सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय श्री कृष्णाय नमोस्तुमे। गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो। हरे कृष्णा हरि ओम तत्सत। Welcome all the devotees for today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, 6th chapter, 8th sloka onwards. Aham cha tad brahma kule मुषेवांस्तत् उपेक्षयां दिग्देशा काला व्युत्पन्नो बालका पंचहायना। अहं च तद् ब्रह्मकुले मुषेवांस्तत् उपेक्षयां दिग्देशा काल व्युत्पन्नो बालका पंचहायना। सिनेमाता जी।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। अहं च तद्ब्रह्मकुले ऊषीवांस्तद् उपेक्षया दिग्देशकालाव्युत्पन्नो बालाका पञ्चहायना।
हरि बोल। तेजस्वी माता जी।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
हरे कृष्ण।
अहं च तत् ब्रह्मकुले उषिवांस्तुद उपेक्षया दिग्देशकालावतिपन्नो बालका पञ्चहायना।
And Vivek Prabhu, translation please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. When I was mere child of 5 years, I lived in a Brahmana school. I was dependent on my mother's affection and had no experience of different lands.
Haribol. When I was a mere child of 5 years, I lived in a Brahmana school. I was dependent on my mother's affection and had no experience of different lands. So Narada Maharshi is explaining about his childhood in the previous life when he was born as a son of a maid servant who was serving the Bhaktivedanta devotees during the Chaturmasya period. So he's telling that I was a mere child of 5 years. He was just 5 years old. And he was not at all interested in sports and other such, activities. Like usually the children are interested in, sports and other things, playing. But here, this boy was just 5 years old. Instead of playing and showing interest in sports and such activities, was not at all interested in that. He was rather staying and helping his mother to serve the devotees. Okay, great personalities, the Bhaktivedanta devotees. So he lived in a Brahmana school. Okay, I was dependent on mother's affection. He was totally dependent on his mother's affection and had no experience of different lands because he was there only. He had not visited any other places. So that's why he says that he had no experience of other places. He had not seen or nor has he gone there. One second. And text 9. Ekada nirgadam gehad duhantim nishigam pathi sarpo dasatpadas prishta kripanam kala choditam ekada nirgadim gehad duhantim nishigam pathi sarpo dasatpadas prishta kripanam kala choditam. Jubi Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Ekada nirgatam goha dohandim nishikapadi sarvo deshat tatpada sprishta kribanam kala chodida.
Okay, Simi Mataji.
Krishna. Ekadam nirgadam geha duhantim nishigam pati sarpo dashat pada sprishta karpanam kala chodida.
Wait, Prabhu, translation, please.
Krishna Guru. Once upon a time, my poor mother, when going out one night to milk a cow, was bitten on the leg by a serpent influenced by supreme time.
Very good. Once upon a time, my poor mother, when going out one night to milk a cow, was bitten on the leg by a serpent influenced by supreme time. He's telling Ekada, once upon a time. We say, well, when we are telling stories, we say once upon a time. Because he is referring to the previous kalpa. Okay. So he is not telling exactly what time, which day, this and that. Once upon a time, because it's long, long ago. So my poor mother, because she was going out for what? To milk a cow. And that time she was bitten on the leg by a serpent, influenced by supreme time. Okay. This is, unexpected. We plan and, man proposes, God disposes. We plan so many things. Okay. We take even life insurance, thinking that the insurance company will protect us. They will guarantee our life. They don't guarantee our life, isn't it? They guarantee the life of our future generation by giving some money if we leave our body. When we leave our body, some money will be given to them. But they say life insurance. What insurance is that? There is no guarantee of our life. Now, after death, they will guarantee that they will give some money to our younger generation, the children. That's it. So where is the guarantee? So there is no guarantee at all what will happen the next moment. Similarly, by the will of the providence, she was bitten by a serpent and she had to leave the body. So that is influenced by the supreme time. So that is the will of the providence. In her body, she was supposed to live only that many years. So he was left all alone, nobody to support him. So this is the way of dragging a sincere soul nearer to God. The poor boy was being looked after only by his affectionate mother, and yet the mother was taken from the world by the supreme will in order to put him completely at the mercy of God. So some people will think, so the nature is so cruel, or the Supreme Lord is so cruel. He was just 5 years old, and his mother has been snatched away by the influence of time. So it's so cruel, isn't it? People may say like that, but is it really cruel? No. Because of this happening, he was taken near to the Supreme Lord, dragging a sincere soul because the Lord knows that he is very sincere, very devoted. He has a lot of inclination for the Supreme Lord to go back home, back to Godhead. So the only affection that he has is the mother. If mother is there, then he will not turn towards the Supreme Lord. So it is the will of the providence that he has to be alone without any support. There was a story that Arjuna and Krishna was traveling through, in disguise, through different villages and towns. So once it so happened, both of them were so thirsty. So they went to the house of a very wealthy man. So seeing them, the Brahmanas, beggars, mendicants, they asked for something to eat and drink. Both of them, and Arjuna and Krishna, both in disguise. So the wealthy man came out and said, driven them off. Go out. Don't come here. No, we don't have anything to give you. Okay. Then Krishna, they came out and he blessed that person, wealthy person. May you be, more rich. What is the blessing? May you become more rich. Then Arjuna was wonderstruck. What is it? This person, didn't even offer water. We were driven away when we asked for some, water to drink and to eat something. We were not given. And in spite of that, Krishna blessed him that he should become more richer than now. Then Krishna didn't say anything. He didn't respond to Arjuna's that, astonishment. Next time, after going little far, then they approached another house. So it was a hut, small hut. Only one Mataji was there, very old. Okay, she had a cow. The only livelihood was the cow. By milking the cow, she sells that milk and somehow sustain her living. So they asked, we are very thirsty, please give some water to drink or something to eat. Immediately she went inside, brought milk and gave both of them. They were very happy. Their thirst could be quenched. And they were very happy. They thanked her. They left the place. Now, when they came out, Arjuna heard that she's crying piteously, as if somebody very close to her left the body. Then Arjuna inquired Krishna, what happened? Why she's crying so loudly? Then Krishna said, the only asset that she has was the cow. That cow passed away. And she cannot live because there is no other way of income. Then Arjuna asked, how is that, Krishna? She helped us. You should have protected her only one cow, due to which she's sustaining her livelihood. Why is that you snatched that cow also from her? Then Krishna said, see, the only attachment that she had left in this material world was that cow. So now the cow is lost. Cow lost her life, and now she is free. There is no more attachment. Now she is ready to come back to the spiritual world. So the only attachment she had in this material world that bound her to this material world was the cow. Now that cow is gone. Now she can totally dedicate her life for spiritual realization, devotional service. Whereas the other person, the wealthy man, because he is so much indulged in material activities, and let him live here for more years, That's why I bless him that let him be more wealthier so that he can enjoy his material life for so many years to come because he's still not ready to come back to the spiritual world. That's why I blessed him and I snatched the cow of this old lady so that now she is ready to come back home, back to God. So man proposes, God disposes. We have plans, but the Supreme Lord has a different plan. That will come into effect. So we should not think that, oh, the Lord is so cruel. Now the only support that the old lady has, that is also snatched away by the Supreme Lord. Okay. So here, similarly, now the only support the 5-year-old boy Narada in his previous life, was his mother, and she also lost. So that Narada now can dedicate completely for the devotional service and will be eligible to go back home, back to God. So that's the reason here. So, and yet the mother was taken from the world by the supreme will. This is the supreme will. This is the will of the providence. No, it will not go according to our plan. Okay? When we plan for the immediate benefit. Okay? Immediate temporary benefit. But when God plans for us, He will see the eternal benefit. So which is good, the eternal benefit or temporary benefit? Definitely the eternal benefit, permanent benefit. So we are, short-sighted. We don't see the future. The Lord can see the future, isn't it? So He plans better for us. So we should live to Him. Yes, it doesn't mean that we just live like fool. We have to plan, but not thinking that everything is under our, it will work as per our plan. We are the proprietor or we are the controller. We should not think. We should plan to the best possible, but then when it doesn't happen that way, we should leave to the plan of the Supreme Lord. That's what we have to learn from here. So 10. Tada tadaham isasya bhaktanam sam abhipsatam anugraham manyamanaha pradishtam dishamuttaram tada tad aham ishasya bhaktanam sam abhipsadam anugraham manyamana pradishtam dishamuttaram. Ejjuge Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Tada tadamishasya bhaktanam shami abhipatsata anugraham manyamana pradishtam dishamuttaram.
Yes, Sini Mataji. You're on mute, Mataji. Sini Mataji, you're on mute.
Sorry. Tadadam ahamishasya bhaktanam sam abhipsadaha anugraham manyamana pradishtam disham uttaram.
Very good. Vivek Prabhu, translation, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I took this as the special mercy of the Lord, who always desires benediction for his devotees. And so thinking, I started for the north.
Very good. I took this as a special mercy of the Lord, who always desires benediction for his devotees. And so thinking, I started for them. So he took it very positively. Instead of him, if it was us, we'll just curse even the Supreme Personality about it. Just like our what is Chitraketu Maharaj and his wife. Chitraketu Maharaj, and so although he had so many queens, he did not have children. But he prayed, nothing happened. When Narada Maharshi and Angira Maharshi came there, they requested Narada Maharshi, you are all like solid personalities, please bless us so that we can have a child. Then because of the repeated persistence, Narada Maharshi blessed them to have a child. But he want that you will get a son. Initially, he will give you happiness, but after that, he will give you distress also. So, because he was very much attached to the son, so he forgot about the second instruction that you will be sad after some time. Although he will give you happiness initially, later the same son will give you distress also. He did not bear that properly. And so he was happy, he got the son, but then the co-wives plotted to kill and he was killed. Then he was too much in distress. That time, Kritadyuti, okay, the mother of the child, was even cursing the Supreme Lord. There is no God. Even if there is God, what type of God is he? We were just living with the only child. We are having a nice time, and he has also been snatched away. That God is merciless. That God is merciless. There is no such God. So she was cursing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but snatching away this child. Already, Narada Maharshi had told that, put the name Harsha Shoka. Harsha means happiness, Shoka means distress. He will be the reason for happiness and distress. That distress part he forgot. He did not consider that at all. So that was intended. That was, destined for both of them. So here, although the only support, mother, and even he is very small, 5 years old, mother was snatched away by the supreme will of the Lord, and Narada took it positively. So he took it as a special mercy of the Lord. Who can take that way? When we lose something very dear to us, or relatives, or money, or position, or possession, oh, it is mercy of the Supreme Lord. Will we say that? It's very difficult, isn't it? Very dear to us, and that person is gone from us, or wealth is lost. Forget about the person. If so much wealth is there, if it is, some theft took place, the thieves looted it, how we will behave? So what to speak of, very near and dear, and they leave us, and when we are left with no one to support. So here, Narada Maharshi, although very small, his intelligence was very bright. He considered this as a special mercy of the Lord. Why? Because only then he can turn towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engage in pure devotional service. So what did he do? He started for the north. Why no? Generally, north, that is Himalaya side, just as a renunciate. People go to the north. So he started for the north in search of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So confidential devotees of the Lord see in every step a benedictory direction of the Lord. What is considered to be an odd or difficult moment in the mundane sense is accepted as special mercy. So generally, people in the material world will take it in a negative sense. God is merciless, and God doesn't exist. If God exists, why these miseries come upon us? They will blame all sort of things. But here, the devotees of the Lord know the plans of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they will take it positively. Everything happens for the best. Okay, there is a saying: everything happens for the best. But in the mundane world, they don't accept it, because if everything happens for the best, what is the guarantee that it is going to be the best, even if it is temporarily, a distressful condition or miserable condition? So they will not accept it. So only the devotees of the Lord will take it as a mercy of the Lord. So mundane prosperity is a kind of material fever. And by the grace of the Lord, the temperature of this material fever is gradually diminished, and spiritual health is obtained step by step. Mundane people misunderstand that. So what Prabhupada says, mundane prosperity, this prosperity, making a lot of money, possession, these are all like a material fever. So this material fever should be reduced. How? By the grace of the Lord, gradually. Without the grace of the Lord, the fever will increase only, if we don't have grace of the Lord. Okay? When the fever increases, what will happen? We'll be bound to this material world again and again through the cycle of Janma Mrityu Jara Vedana. So we should find out a solution to reduce the fever, not to increase the fever. So when the fever is reduced, we'll come to our senses and we'll know that these are all temporary. All this prosperity is temporary. It is not going to benefit us spiritually. So when it gets diminished, then the spiritual health will be obtained. Spiritual health. So when we get the spiritual health, step by step, not immediately, it'll take time, gradually and slowly and gradually. Then we can, get liberated from this mental excitation, or we can progress in spiritual advancement. But mundane people misunderstand it. Ordinary people, the general mass, because not knowing the plan of the Supreme Lord, they will misunderstand it, because the only thing I have, the only possession I have, the only relation I have, that has been snatched away by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What can we do? What can be done? How can I survive with the support, without the support? So that is a mistaken idea of the general mass of people. So, Spidhan Janapadam Satra Vragrama Vrajakaran Kheda Karvatavatischa Vanani Upavanani Cham Spidhan Janapadam Satra Vragrama Vrajakaran Kheta Karvatavatischa Vanani Upavanani Cham. Kejumi Mataji.
कृष्ण विदाञ्जनपदांस्तत्र पुरग्रामाव्रजकरान् खिडाकर्वडवाडिच्च वनान्युपवनानि च.
Very good. Sini Mataji.
स्फीतानि जनपदांस्तत्र पुरग्रामव्रजाकरान् खेडकर्वडवादिश्च वनान्युपवनानि च.
A translation, please, Vivek Prabhu.
After my departure, I passed through many flourishing metropolises, towns, villages, animal farms, mines, agricultural land, valleys, flower gardens, nurseries, gardens, and natural forests.
Very good. After my departure, he left after mother's passing away. Narada Maharshi left from here towards the north. So after my departure, I passed through many flourishing metropolises, towns, villages, animal farms, mines, agricultural lands, valleys, flower gardens, nursery, gardens, and natural fields. So from this, we understand that we are now living in a very, very modern age, modern era. But even in the previous, so many, what do you call it? Yugas before you, so many yugas, thousands and thousands of yugas. 1,000 yuga cycle is one kalpa. So this is previous kalpa. So many metropolis cities, towns, villages, everything was there. So we think that this is the modern era, this is the golden era. All the previous time it was iron age and copper age, this and that. It's not that. Very clear. Flourishing metropolis, towns, villages, animal farms, mines, agricultural lands, valleys, flower gardens, nursery gardens, everything was there. So many yugas before. This is the previous kalpa. So we should know, no, this is because only 20th century, 21st century, everything is modern, everything is available. Previously, they were all like, tribals, nothing. It's very clear. We understand that. No tribals, not forest dwellers. Much, much better than the present time. Much, much better than the present time. Actually, we are, the present time we are going backward, not forward. Why backward? Because the so-called modern technologies, the modern comfortable life, it is actually taking us backward. We are going, backward, not forward. Why? Because we are going away from Krishna. When the Vedic principles, the Vedic life, the Vedic traditions, we are going towards Krishna. Now we are going backward, away from Krishna. So we should not think that, previous yugas or previous kalpas, the previous ages are all tribal people, forest dwellers, something like that. So man's activities in agriculture, mining, farming, industries, gardening, etc., were all on the same scale as they are now. Prabhupada says here, okay, same scale as they are now. It's nothing new. Even previous to the present creation. So present creation means the present kalpa. And the same activities will remain as they are, even in the next creation. So in even the next kalpa also, because why kalpa, when I'm telling kalpa, 1,000 yuga cycle is the daytime, 1,000 yuga cycle is the nighttime. So nighttime, there is no activity, or we are all sleeping. We are all sleeping. We all enter into the abdomen of Garbhosaya Vishnu, no activity. So again, the creation takes place by Lord Brahma. So before that night, the day, then night, then again day, then night. So it keeps going and coming. So it's not that only now is a modern age. No, it is an ongoing process. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. So according to different ages, whatever are necessary, whatever activities were there in the previous kalpa, the same activities will continue in this kalpa also. Okay, it's a golden, yes, Satya Yuga golden because all the four principles were prevalent that time. Treta Yuga, the quality decreased. Okay, then Dwapara Yuga again decreased. Kali Yuga it is worst. Again Satya Yuga will start. That's why Prabhupada says it will remain as they are even in the next creation. After many hundreds of millions of years, one creation is started by the law of nature, and the history of the universe repeats itself practically in the same way. So this cycle keeps going. Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. Again Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. So whatever is supposed to happen in Satya Yoga, it will happen. Whether in this kalpa or in the previous kalpa or in the future kalpa. Whatever is going to happen in the Dwapara Yuga will happen in the future, or it happened in the earlier kalpa also, by the law of nature. And the history of the universe repeats itself practically in the same way. The mundane wranglers waste time with archaeological excavations without searching into the vital necessities. There are some people who waste their time, doing archaeology, this and that, to find out when did the human being come into existence, when the life came into existence, for all these things. But they will not be able to find out because, the creation, when it started and when it is going to end, nobody knows. If we roughly calculate, as per Bhagavad Gita, the lifespan of Brahma is 311 trillion 40 billion years. What is our archaeological findings? How many thousand? 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000? What is the comparison? 311 trillion 40 billion years is lifespan of Brahma. So what can we do with this archaeological findings? That's what Prabhupada says, is waste of time. After getting the impetus in spiritual life, Narada Muni, Sri Narada Muni, even though a mere child, did not waste time for a single moment with economic development, although he passed towns and villages, mines and industries. Usually people are after, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So Prabhupada says here, even though he was a small child, was not interested. He was interested in devotional activities. So he did not desire for any economic development. Generally, people follow dharmic activities or dharma just to get artha. That means economic development. Then with the artha, they want to fulfill their desires, kama. When they are totally frustrated in their kama, because most of the time the kama cannot be fulfilled. So when the kama is not fulfilled, we'll get frustrated. When in that frustrating condition, we'll try for mukti. So generally these are called purusharthas. People, do dharma for artha. When they get artha, they will try to accomplish desires of kama, and when they are frustrated, they will try for mukti. So Narada Muni did not attempt for that. He did not waste the time for a single moment for acquiring artha. So he was interested in spiritual realization. So he continually went on to progressive spiritual emancipation. So that was his goal, spiritual emancipation. Srimad Bhagavatam is a repetition of history which happened some hundred of millions of years ago. Srimad Bhagavatam is a repetition of history which happened some hundred of millions of years ago. Why? Even if you take into consideration one kalpa, it is 4,320,000,000 years is one kalpa, or 1 day, or 12 hours. 12 hours. Not our 12 hours. Brahma's 12 hours. So that's why Prabhupada says, even if you take it, it is a repetition of history, which happened some hundreds of millions of, that is, hundreds of million means 1,000 million is 1 billion. Okay, so 1 day, that is 12 hours of God Brahma is 4,320,000,000 years. What is that? 1,000 yuga cycle. 1,000 yuga cycle. So it's a repetition. It's a repetition of history. This keeps repeating. So as it is said herein, only the most important factors of history are picked up to be recorded in this transcendent literature. So, Vyasadeva cannot give all the historical events of the, one yuga cycle he cannot give. What to speak of the 1 day? What to speak of the total lifespan of Brahma? It is not possible at all. Satya, Treda, Dwapara, Kali. Okay, Kali is going now. Okay, even in this Yuga cycle, what all historical events took place in Satya Yuga, in Treda Yuga, in Dwapara Yuga, it's not possible to put in record and give it to us. So only the most important factor, just to educate us. Okay, just to educate us. Just for example, just fraction of a second. Okay, a flashback. That's it. The 24 hours. In 24 hours, what is the value of 1 second? Negligible. Even not 1 second, fraction of a second. Lava matra. It's 1/11th of a second. So that much can be given to us. That is what Vyasadeva has given. Only some important historical facts. Just to educate us, not for any other reason. Okay? Because such and such history took place, such and such kings were there. These all activities they did just to educate us, just to teach us, so that we will not be bound to this material world. We will also take interest for spiritual emancipation. That is why all these historical events, important historical events that happened in the past ages were recorded and given to us. So one of such events that took place 5,000 years ago about the Mahabharata war. So many characters, so many pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so many teachings. So through these teachings, so these are all, Bhagavatam narrates all these stories so that we get the right education to go back to Godhead. So there is an entertainment also, there is adventures also, there is suspense also, there is romance also. Everything is there in this. Everything is there. So through this, we are being taught different lessons. And by studying the different characters of personalities mentioned in Bhagavatam, mentioned in Ramayanam and Mahabharata, we take some lessons. Okay, after some class, we take some lessons. What did we learn from this? And we try to apply that in our day-to-day life so that we can accomplish what we are supposed to accomplish in the human form of life. So that's what, as it is stated here, in only the most important factors of history are picked up to be recorded in this translation literature. Some people think that everything is in the Bhagavatam. Everything is there in the Bhagavatam, whatever is required for us to go back home, back toward it. From that perspective, everything is there. Now, when somebody study Bhagavatam, it is enough for us to become a devotee. But do not expect that all the events that took place all the time in the previous, it is not recorded. It's not possible also. So just see a 1.5 or 2 hours movie. How many hours? 1.5, 2 hours movie. It shows the complete life of a family, for example. It's a family movie, about the families, in 1.5 hours. How many 100 years or even the previous life also there is. See, 1.5 hours movie, the whole life of the family is shown. Isn't it? Just in 1.5 hours. Similarly here, different kalpas, different, yugas, whatever important factors, important events took place just to teach us. Such instances or such events have been given in Srimad Bhagavatam and Mahabharata and Ramayana, so that we are aligned and we take the right path and to go back home, back to knowledge. That is the purpose. So text word. Chitradhatu vichitradrin ibha bhagna bhujadruman jalashayan chiva jalan nalini sura sevita चित्रस्वनै पत्ररथेर विभ्रमद भ्रमरश्रिया चित्रधातु विचित्राद्रिन इभा भग्ना भुजद्रुमान जलाशयान चिवा जलान नलिनी सुरत सेविदा चित्रस्वनै पत्ररथेर विभ्रमद भ्रमरश्रिया. Okay, Jubi Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
चित्रदादो विचित्राभिनिभग्न भूज्रद्रुमान् जलाशयाचीव जला नलिनी सुरसेविदा चित्रसोनेन पत्रारधिर्विभ्रमत् भ्रमरश्रिया.
Sri Mataji.
चित्रधातु विचित्राद्रीन् इव भग्नभुजद्रुमान् जलाशयाञ्चिव जलान् नलिनीसुरसेविता चित्रस्वनै पत्ररथेर् विभ्रमद्भ्रमरश्रिया.
Okay, wait for translation, please.
I passed through hills and mountains full of reservoirs of various minerals like gold, silver, and copper, and through tracts of land with reservoirs of water filled with beautiful lotus flowers, fit for the
Denizens.
decorated with bewildered bees and singing birds.
Very good. I passed through hills and mountains full of reservoirs of various minerals like gold, silver, and copper, and through tracts of land with the reservoirs of water filled with beautiful lotus flowers, fit for the denizens of heaven, decorated with bewildered bees and singing birds. So, not only metropolis, cities, towns, valleys, rivers, we also pass through hills, mountains, full of reservoirs of various minerals like gold, silver, copper. It was in abundance. Everything was in abundance. There was no scarcity. So that was the time when he was going. The time was very nice because everything was in abundance. That's why, it is mentioned here. When we passes now in the present age, can we see all these things? No. Only concrete jungle we can see. Isn't it? Concrete jungle. We don't see such sceneries nowadays unless you go some remote villages. Otherwise, only concrete jungle. So through hills and mountains, full of reservoirs of various minerals like gold, silver, copper, and through tracts of land with reservoirs of water filled with beautiful lotus flowers. Okay, so all by nature. Nowadays, we cultivate it just for the sake of business to make money. Otherwise, everything is by nature, it was growing, it was available. Nature supplied us abundantly all these things those days because people never exploited, they never exploited. Now, in the name of business, people are exploiting it. Okay. There's no proper distribution. Everybody's amassing and hoarding it in their godown because they want to become rich. But in the previous ages, it was not like that. Everyone is properly taken care of by the king. All their basic necessities were properly taken care of by the king. Nowadays, the king wants to pocket everything for their benefits. They don't distribute, they don't give. So that's the difference. And it is the reservoirs of water filled with beautiful lotus flowers, fit for the denizens of heaven. So all these places are like heaven only. That's why it said, fit for the so those citizens in the heavenly planet, they are enjoying all this. So even on this land, it was available. It was as good as Sorga here, heaven here. That's why fit for denizen. Otherwise, how it will be possible to be abundantly available all these things in this country, on this land, which is fit for denizens of heaven. So it was a heavenly planet like. Because people were not, miserly, they were not greedy, everything was in abundance. Nobody fought, nobody exploited the other person. So it was just like heaven only. Decorated with bewildered bees. So it's also the beauty, the bees and singing birds, chirping birds, the natural, the rivers, the oceans, hills, everything, and forests, everything was there. The nature provided everything. So that's why, that's what here Narada Maharshi is telling. Nala Venu Sarastamba Shachika Kicha Kichaka Gauvaram Eka Evati Atoham Adraksham Vipinam Mahat Goram Pratibhayakaram Vayololuka Shivajiram Nala Venu Sarastamba Usaki Chaka Gauvaram Eka evati yatoham Draksham vipinam mahat Goram pradibhayakaram Vyaloluka Shivajiram. Hare Krishna. Jogi Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Nala Venu Sharastanba Kushaki Chakagaharam Eka Eva Diyadoha Madraksham Vibinam Mahal Goram Pradibhayakaram Vyaloluka Shivajiram.
Sini Mataji.
नलवेणु शरस्तंभा कुशकी जगगाहरम एक एवाति अदोहम अद्राक्षं विपिनं महद् घोरं प्रतिभयाकारं व्यालोलोकाशिवज्रजिरम्.
Very good. Proper translation, please. You are on mute, probably.
Yes, Guruji, very well. I then passed along through many forests of rushes, bamboos, reeds, sharp grass, woods, and caves, which were very difficult to go through alone. I visited deep, dark, and dangerous, fearful forest, which were the players of snakes, owls, and jackals.
Oh, very good. I then passed alone through many forests and rushes, bamboos, reeds, sharp grass, weeds, and caves. They were very difficult to go through alone. He was a small child of 5 years old. He was not fearful at all because he, trusted the protection of the Supreme Personality of God. He knew that the Supreme Lord is there to protect him. Otherwise, at the age of 5, who can go? Who can go through all these places? Forests, and especially forests full of snakes, owls, and jackals, all wild animals also. So he was fearless. So he went through all these forests of rushes, bamboos, reeds, sharp grass, weeds, and caves, which are very difficult to go through alone. I visited deep, dark, and dangerously fearful, dangerously, which were the play yards of snakes, owls, and jackals. So he was fearless. Why he was fearless? Because he had taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is his duty to take care of him now, because he has totally surrendered. He had no one else. So he has taken complete shelter of the Supreme Lord. So he was fearless. We cannot travel like that alone at this age. It is the duty of a mendicant, Parivrajaka mendicant who travels and preaches, is called as Parivrajaka, to experience all varieties of God's creation by traveling alone through all forests, hills, towns, villages, etc. Gain faith in God and strength of mind, as well as to enlighten the inhabitants with the message of God. Okay. So it is the duty of the traveling mendicants to go through all these places and get strength and have the trust that God will protect them at all times. They should have that strong faith in the protection of Supreme Personality. They should not be fearful of anything. So to get experience. And at the same time, what is their purpose of traveling? The purpose is to enlighten the inhabitants. Wherever they go, they have to enlighten them with spiritual sermon. Sannyasi is duty bound to take all these risks without fear. And the most typical sannyasi of the present age is Lord Chaitanya, traveled in the same manner through the central Indian jungles, enlightening even the tigers, bears, snakes, deer, elephants, and many other jungle animals. So the best example of the recent time is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveled through the Jharkhand forest, from Puri all the way to Cape Comorin, Kanyakumari, then back to Puri, then to Vrindavan. So many places on foot, passing through jungles without any fear. Not only that, he made all the wild animals chant Hare Krishna Mantra by his purity. We know that he is the Supreme Lord himself, but still, it is just to educate us. Anybody who takes shelter of the Supreme Lord can be fearless and can even enlighten the animals. So any sannyasi who has taken this path, Parvajakacharya, should be fearless and travel and preach for the benefit of others, to enlighten others. So even when he was going through the Jharkhand forest, wild animals, he told them to chant Hare Krishna, and they started chanting Hare Krishna and dancing. All the tiger, lion, elephant, all sort of animals. Okay. So in this age of Kali, sannyasa is forbidden for ordinary men. Why? It is very difficult to follow the principles of sannyasa, the vrata of sannyasa. That's why in this age of Kali, it is for, but still some devotees take to sannyasa, because without sannyasa, people will take them lightly. So they take sannyasa just so that they become grave and serious. People also should take them, grave and serious, because their only plan is to make others Krishna conscious. That's why some of the devotees take the risk of even taking sannyasa in the age of Kali, although it is prohibited. So one should, however, take the vow to stop social intercourse completely and devote life exclusively service of God. So they should actually, after taking sannyasa, it means they are socially dead. They're socially dead. They do even their shraddha before taking sannyasa. Then only they will become the real sannyasa. So they are socially dead. They don't have any obligations towards anyone in this material world. Anyone, because they are totally renunciant. So the change of dress is only a formality. Lord Chaitanya did not accept the name of a sannyasi, and in this age of Kali, the so-called sannyasis should not change their former names, following the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an example, because he did not change the name. He was Sri Krishna Chaitanya before, and even after taking sannyasa, is Sri Krishna Chaitanya. And even in our this thing also, they change the name because they add bhakti. Okay? For bhakti sannyasis, especially the Gaudiya Vaishnava sannyasis, it is okay. But the other Ekadandi sannyas is very strict.
Yes.
Yeah, they add Swami, Goswami, Bhakti, all these things. So, but the Ekadandi sannyasis, the Mayavada sannyasis, they think that they become God. Tridandi sannyasis, what is the significant? Tridandi means the danda that they are having, there are 3 sticks tied together. Ekadandi is just only 1 stick. That signifies that they are one with the Lord. When I realize, I become Lord. I merges into the Lord. But Tridandi sannyasis, Vaishnava sannyasis, the 3 sticks means Manasa, Vacha, Karmana. By body, mind, and words, they will serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They will not become God. The whole life is dedicated to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that signifies the Tridandi. So, and in the age of Kali, the so-called sannyasis should not change for their former names, following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya. In this age, devotional service of hearing and repeating the holy glories of the Lord is strongly recommended, and one who takes the vow of renunciation of family life need not imitate the Pravrajagacharya like Narada or Lord Chaitanya, but may sit down at some holy place and devote his whole time and energy to hear and repeatedly chant the holy scriptures left by the great acharyas like 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. So Prabhupada is warning us that one should not imitate Narada Maharshi or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because just what we should do, we should just take to the Nama Sankirtana Yajna of the Kali Yuga. Okay, that is the recommended process. We should chant the holy name of the Lord, and we should inspire others also to chant the holy name of the Lord. So sannyasa dress is just external only. Internally, we should be renounced. Okay? We should have virakti internally. Even if we don't take up the saffron cloth, internally we should be renunciated. So we should not imitate the great personalities like Narada or Lord Chaitanya, but we can do our devotional activities. It's not for showing off that I am a renunciate. It should happen internally. That's what Prabhupada is warning all of us, not to imitate, but to just follow the instructions of such acharyas. Also, we should repeatedly chant the holy scriptures left by the great acharyas like 6 Goswamis of Vrindavana. The 6 Goswamis of Vrindavana like Rupa Sanatana Jiva, Gopala Bhatta, Raghunath Das, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, all of them have given so many bhakti literatures. We should study that and follow in their footsteps. Mahajano ena gatasa pantha. We should follow in the footsteps of Mahajanas, the great personalities like 6 Goswamis of Vrindavana, so that we also become perfect in this life itself. So by following in the footsteps of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavana, we can become perfect. That's what Prabhupada says here. Okay, Hare Krishna, Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. Ananda Koti Vaishnavadi ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Srimad Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.